At first glance, this looks like a patrol boat. Then you notice the problem. There is nobody aboard, no wheelhouse, no crew leaning over the rail, no engineer listening to the engine. Just a compact, 5.3-meter hull running across open water at up to 26 knots, carrying cameras, navigation sensors, communications equipment, a diesel engine, and a waterjet. OceanAlpha calls it the M75, an unmanned surface vessel built for patrol, offshore logistics, rescue, and security work. But the strangest part is not that it can drive itself. Earlier OceanAlpha product literature describes a self-straightening function designed to recover the vessel after a capsize. That changes the entire engineering question. How do you build a small autonomous boat that can work in rough water, see what is around it, move without an exposed propeller, survive far from a crew, and keep functioning when the sea turns the machine upside down? The answer starts before the electronics, before the radar, before the autonomy. It starts with the shell. OceanAlpha's earlier M75 documentation identifies the hull as carbon fiber composite. That choice creates a manufacturing challenge. The craft needs enough stiffness to carry machinery and sensors, but unnecessary mass steals speed and endurance. The public record does not reveal the M75's exact resin system, fiber orientation, mold process, or curing cycle, so those details cannot be invented. What can be established is the shape the finished structure must support. The M75 is low, narrow, and compact, with a high forward deck, an open working area toward the stern, and a tall sensor structure rising above the hull. On the completed vessel, those features look simple. During construction, every one of them becomes an interface. Machinery below, sensors above, cables through the structure, access points for maintenance, and a hull that still has to stay watertight. Before any autonomous system can make a decision, the physical platform has to survive being a boat. The bare structure is therefore only the beginning. The hull has to become a machinery carrier. Equipment supports, service spaces, and penetrations have to be integrated without turning the lightweight shell into weak points. OceanAlpha does not publish a step-by-step M75 factory sequence, so the exact order remains private. Deep inside that compact hull is the system that gives the M75 its speed. A diesel engine driving waterjet propulsion. That waterjet is one of the most important clues to how this vessel is meant to work. A conventional propeller projects below or behind the hull. A waterjet draws water through an intake and accelerates it out through a nozzle. For a compact unmanned vessel, that means high maneuverability without a large exposed propeller. But the propulsion system has to become part of the hull. Intake geometry, machinery mounts, fuel connections, cooling, exhaust, steering hardware, and the waterjet outlet. All of them have to coexist inside a platform only a little longer than a large road vehicle. Alignment matters, access matters, weight distribution matters, and that is where the M75 stops being just a small boat and starts becoming a robot. Power and propulsion can move it, but movement alone is useless if the vessel does not know where it is going. The next layer is electrical control, communications, and autonomy. OceanAlpha says the M75 can operate through fully autonomous navigation or manual remote control. The vessel therefore has to connect the physical world outside the hull to computers and operators that may be far away. Look at the finished boat, and the sensor mast becomes the center of that problem. OceanAlpha's current material shows an electro-optical pod, panoramic camera coverage, and a searchlight. Earlier product material also lists navigation radar, laser radar, AIS, cameras, and communications equipment. Each sensor sees a different version of the environment. A camera sees an image. Radar can detect objects beyond what visible light alone can reliably provide. AIS can exchange identity and movement information with equipped vessels. Positioning and navigation systems tell the M75 where it is. None of these devices is autonomy by itself. The real challenge is integration. Cables have to pass through a wet, vibrating structure. Antennas need useful placement. Sensors need calibration. And the software has to turn those inputs into a coherent picture of what surrounds the vessel. This is the hidden factory inside an autonomous boat. Not one dramatic machine, but dozens of interfaces that all have to agree. And that is why the mast matters so much. It is not decoration. It is where a large part of the M75's perception system meets the outside world. Once the sensors are installed, the boat still cannot simply be declared autonomous. It has to be tested as a system. Cameras must point where the control software expects them to point. Navigation data must correspond to the real position of the hull. Communications have to survive distance and motion. Steering commands have to produce predictable changes in heading. The waterjet, engine, navigation stack, and remote control system all have to respond as one machine. That verification is also where small integration mistakes become visible. A sensor can work perfectly on a bench and still fail once vibration, salt spray, changing light, and hull motion arrive together. A control command can be correct in software and still produce the wrong physical response if propulsion or steering behaves differently than expected. Testing closes that gap between individual components and one dependable vessel. And then the engineers have to test the exact condition that makes an unmanned vessel useful. Nobody is on board to rescue it. If you enjoy seeing how unusual machines are engineered from the inside out, subscribe to Modus Assembly. Because this is where the M75's design becomes much stranger. Earlier OceanAlpha literature describes a self-straightening function intended to prevent the loss of the vessel after capsize. Public video listings from OceanAlpha also identify an M75 self-righting test. What the company does not publicly disclose is the internal mechanism that makes the recovery possible. There is no verified public diagram showing the ballast arrangement, center of gravity, flooding path, or any hidden righting device. So the mystery has a boundary. We can see the capability. We cannot pretend to see through the hull. That distinction matters because recovery from an inverted state is not just a dramatic trick. With nobody aboard to restart machinery or inspect damage, sensors, electronics, propulsion interfaces, antennas, and structural openings must tolerate the event. Even after the vessel comes upright, the real question is whether it can continue its mission. And that mission can be surprisingly practical. OceanAlpha documents M75 vessels used by a CNOOC security service operation around offshore oil and gas platforms. In that application, the USVs were used for small-scale material transport between platforms, as well as security patrol. The deployment method is almost as unusual as the boat itself. The M75 does not need a harbor beside every platform. A crane can lower the unmanned vessel from the offshore structure into the sea using an automatic decoupling arrangement. Once released, the boat travels to another platform. There, it can be recovered and lifted again. The same hull that runs fast across open water also has to survive being suspended from lifting gear. Its electronics have to tolerate launch, splash, vibration, spray, and recovery. The open deck can become a small logistics platform. It is a compact machine moving between the rigid geometry of an offshore installation and the moving sea. OceanAlpha gives the current M75 a displacement of about 1.3 tons. At 20 knots, the company lists an endurance of 120 nautical miles. Maximum speed is 26 knots. Those numbers explain why every kilogram has to justify its place. Structure, fuel, propulsion, sensors, communications, rescue equipment, or payload. The rescue role pushes the design in another direction. OceanAlpha says the M75 can carry equipment such as an ejectable life raft, a remotely controlled rescue bed, or a lifebuoy. In a rescue demonstration, the vessel can approach a person in the water without first putting another rescuer into the same dangerous conditions. Now the sensor mast has a second purpose. It is not only watching an exclusion zone or tracking traffic. The electro-optical system can help find a person. The communications link keeps an operator connected to the vessel. The propulsion system has to approach without losing control at low speed. And the working deck has to carry the equipment that turns detection into recovery. That is why the final stage of production is not really assembly. It is proof. A completed M75 has to leave the controlled environment of the workshop and enter the water. The hull now meets wave impact. The engine meets sustained load. The waterjet has to translate power into motion. The navigation system has to follow a route in a moving environment. The cameras encounter glare, spray, darkness, and vibration. Communications stretch away from shore. Automatic control has to make sense, while the entire platform pitches and rolls underneath it. OceanAlpha says the current vessel is intended to remain stable in waves around 1.25 meters and endure harsher conditions around 2.5 meters. Those conditions expose the real difference between an autonomous boat on a display stand and an autonomous boat at sea. On land, a sensor mast is just equipment. At speed, it is being shaken by the hull. At the dock, a waterjet is just propulsion hardware. In open water, it is steering the entire machine. In a brochure, autonomy is software. At sea, autonomy is the moment when software, sensors, communications, propulsion, structure, and environment all collide. And this is what makes the M75 more interesting than its size suggests. It is only 5.3 meters long. Yet inside that length, engineers have had to combine a lightweight composite platform, diesel power, waterjet propulsion, navigation hardware, remote control, autonomous operation, surveillance sensors, rescue equipment, and offshore handling into one vehicle. No single feature creates the machine. The hull without the sensors is blind. The sensors without communications cannot report. The computers without propulsion cannot act. The propulsion system without a stable hull cannot survive the sea. And a finished autonomous boat that cannot recover from failure may simply become an expensive object drifting beyond reach. That is the central answer. Building the M75 is not about removing a crew from an ordinary patrol boat. It is about redesigning the boat around the fact that the crew is already somewhere else. Every critical function that a person would normally watch, control, or react to has to be transferred into structure, sensors, communications, software, and tested mechanical behavior. That is why a strange little robot boat can patrol an offshore platform, carry supplies, assist a rescue, run at 26 knots, and, in the documented self-straightening configuration, recover after being overturned. The empty deck is not what makes it autonomous. Everything hidden underneath it does. Subscribe to Modus Assembly for the next machine built to work where people do not have to.